situation is to start a fire. I've used them several times. Have you ever been stuck on the side of the road during a snowstorm? Trust me, you don't want to be that person that doesn't have any gear. Hey guys, I'm Tim with Covert CEO, and in today's video we're going to be breaking down the essential gear that you're going to need to stay warm when in your vehicle and winter driving. As a former deputy and experienced off-roader, I can tell you firsthand things go bad, and when they go bad they go worse, and they go worse quickly. Today I'm going to be going through the gear that I carry in my Jeep JK. I take it everywhere with me. It's one of my kits of several, but this is the one that I go to in an emergency situation in the wintertime. So let's dive into it and see what's in the box. The very first thing you're going to want to have is a way to start your vehicle jump started. Now I know you can carry jumper cables, but the problem with that is you can't self-rescue. You're going to have to rely on someone to come around that can give you a jump, and that may not be for a long time, and when it's cold, it's cold. So with this, it's just the box made by Norco. I've had it for a long time. I've had several different brands of these, and I really enjoy them. And the biggest thing I like about them is I can self-recover. I can start my vehicle, but it's got USB ports where I can charge it in the vehicle, but I can also charge my phone and other stuff, which I don't recommend you do. If you're charging your phone and other devices, you're taking away from the starter battery, and I want the most amount of power when I need it, so I only use this to start my car. And if somebody else comes along, needs a jump start, you know, you can start your buddy's car. They'll remember you and like you forever because you were the one that gave them the jump start. So carry one of these with you. It's very essential because the batteries break down and go low and go bad normally during the cold weather months. Next thing I've always got to have is a flashlight. This one here is actually called a Streamlight Stinger. I enjoy it. I've had it for a long time. I've actually got 3 of these in my Jeep. I carry one inside the box, and I got 2 others that are on chargers that charge all the time, keeping them topped off. But with that, they're always going to be at their maximum charge at that point. So if you don't have a rechargeable flashlight, make sure you bring several extra batteries for them. So once you run through this, you can just swap them out and you're back in business. The next thing I carry might surprise you. It's a road flare. And this one lasts for 10 minutes. And the reason I like the 10-minute one is it isn't very big. With it not being very big, that doesn't mean that it's not effective, because actually I can carry 5, 10, 15 of these because they don't take up very much room at all. And the way they work is you peel this back, you take the cap off, and you strike it until it ignites it. And once it ignites it, it burns extremely hot and extremely bright. So if you were in the ditch and you're down, because you got to think about it, where I was a deputy at, it was Mark Twain National Forest, and that's nothing but hills and curves, probably like the forest that you visit. But whenever someone would slide off, it may only be 5 or 10 foot down, or it might be 50 to 100 foot down. Some of those canyons get pretty deep. With this, you're able to bring this up to the road and lay these in the road and strike them so they'll get attention. They may not see you all the way down in that ditch, and you're not going to want to stand on the roadway and wait for someone to come along because you're going to get cold. But at least when people see these, they recognize them. Emergency crews always recognize these, and they know to start looking around and try to see where you're at. The good thing about these too is even though it's 10 minutes, what you'll do is you'll take a second one, lay it on top of it. So whenever this one gets to the end, it will ignite the next one, and that's another 10 minutes. And then you can lay another one on top. So you can get up to 40 minutes, an hour, just however many of these sticks you have of burn time to warn people that you're down there in the ditch and you need help, because a lot of times in these areas, your cell phone's not going to work. I hope with these new Starlink updates that will make a big game changer for our cell phones, but a lot of times you don't have clear sky where you're at and there's no cell phone coverage. So these are a good deal. The other thing that I use these for in an off-road situation is to start a fire. I've used them several times throughout my life because once the wood gets all wet in an area that you're at, it's hard to get that wood going, but these things will get the wood ignited. It will create enough heat and enough burn that it will start drying out the wood and igniting it for you, and you can pile other wood on top of it, and you can put more flares down there and do the same thing. So this is just a road flare. You can get them at your country stores. You can order them online. There's a lot of different places that sell these road flares, so It's an essential item in my kit. And with safety comes a first aid kit. This is the most important kit that you can carry with you. I have several of them. I have one that I keep inside my car. I got one back in the back of the Gladiator. And I got two of these. I got one of these in my JK, one in the Gladiator. So always have a kit inside your car. I got a smaller one that I carry in my backpack when I'm out hiking. So it's very essential that you have a first aid kit. But this one was bought online, and I liked it because I noticed there was a lot of room left in it after they packed all the normal first aid stuff that comes in these. And I look for them to have a variety of first aid equipment in them. But then once I see what's not in there, I put in there for myself. For one, I wear contact lenses, so I got an extra set of contacts, and I got saline solution because I may need another contact. And if you have glasses, you can also put glasses in there as well, and you can have them in there. I'm fortunate enough not to need medication, but if you are someone that needs medication, what you have to realize is it could be hours, maybe days before someone comes and rescues you, especially out on these roads. From being a deputy sheriff, I know that being on the county roads, they are very slick, and we can't even patrol on them. They're so slick, and we can't respond to calls because it's a safety hazard for us to get on them. And it's only a couple days normally out of the year that we experience that kind of ice and snow. Until the salt trucks go through several times, we can't really get to people either when I was doing that profession. So I would always tell people to take what you need for at least a couple days inside your first aid kit, especially if you take medication. Another thing that might surprise you that I have in here is Narcan. And recently, this last summer, we were at a big off-road event, and it's at a park, and a guy comes wheeling up in a side-by-side, and he's got a female with him who is totally passed out. She was unconscious. She did have a heartbeat, and she was breathing, but it was very shallow. So I went back to the Gladiator, I grabbed the first aid kit I brought over there, and I gave her some Narcan. Narcan won't hurt her none, but if she had been under the influence of some type of drug as an opiate, then it could put her in that situation. Well, the Narcan wakes her up. So the Narcan woke her up, and I'm very familiar with Narcan because here in Springfield as a security professional, we Narcan people all the time that we find unconscious on the street and wake them up. So the Narcan's very good to have with you, but I also carry it for my dog. I've had to give it to my dog before when we've been working events, and my dog he would be sniffing an area, and then he would get kind of woozy, acting like he's going out. I just hurried and Narcaned him, and it woke him back up, and he had got into something that was an opiate or fentanyl, and he was going down. So this is good to have for yourself, your family members, your dog. Anyone can get exposed to this stuff, even total strangers whenever they need it. So it's something I keep in my kit now, and the people that were with me, my friends at the off-road park, they had never seen anything like that. We actually had sent them Narcan now too, so they can have it for next time. So Narcan's a good thing. Another thing I carry are bleed kits. I carry the combat gauze, the chest seals, the tourniquets. So you want your kit to be well put together, and you're going to have to do that yourself. Most of them won't come that way, so you'll have to see what you need in there and fill in the gaps. You're going to want to be able to stay dry and warm. Always have gloves with you for a lot of different reasons. Whether you're moving stuff off the trail, you're going to need gloves with you. If it's as cold as it is today, it's only 15 degrees here today, and it's snowing. So these may not totally protect me from the winter conditions, but they are keeping my hands dry and not exposed to the weather. So gloves is a very important thing. And to go along with that, I carry 2 caps. One because I'm bald, but even if you're not bald, it's good to have it over your hair and your ears to keep them all warm and to trap your heat, your body heat up there so you can keep warm longer. So always wear a hat and have 2 hats with you. Now, why 2 hats? For one, like today, if I'm standing outside in the snow, it's going to get wet. I can get back in the car. I can put a dry one on. You should carry some wool socks as well so you can change your socks out, because if your feet's ever been wet and got cold, it's a horrible feeling. And I carry in my Jeep muck boots in both Jeeps just so I can get out in the mud or get out in the snow and keep my feet dry. and they're insulated as well, and they go up quite a ways. So boots are another good thing to have with you. As far as this kit goes, I like all these items because they keep me safe, they keep me warm, and if I'm warm, I feel a lot better. And speaking of warm, you must have an emergency blanket. And how many of these you need? You need one of these for every person that's in your car. So you can put 5 of these in your kit. They're not very big. They hardly take up any room at all. And this is actually a 10 by 10 emergency blanket. Why is it so big? It's big because I can make a shelter out of it if I need to. I can use the paracord, I can stretch this out, and I can build a 10 by 10 shelter with it. I can sleep under it if I need to, but if I'm in my car, I'm going to wrap this around me. Because what commonly happens is when people go down in the ditch and they're in their car where it's warm, but they keep their car running. And that's a huge mistake because they run out of gas. As I said, if you're going to hit the road, you need to make sure your gas tank is totally topped off before you leave. And even if it is topped off and it's going to be 15, 20 hours before you get rescued, you're probably not going to have any gas left if you left your car run. So by having this emergency blanket, you can wrap it around you and trap your body heat into your body through this emergency blanket. You can then shut your car off and leave it off until you get really, really cold again, and then you can turn it back on. Well, with the emergency blanket, it's going to take longer for you to get cold, so you can keep wrapped up, turn your car on, let it run for 15 minutes, turn it back off. That way you save your fuel. Another mistake people have is they leave their headlights on and it runs their battery down. Turn your headlights off, leave your flashers on, but if you see a car coming your way, you can signal them with your headlights and tell them that you're down there, but other than that, turn your headlights off because, again, it's going to run your batteries down, but that's a good way to be able to survive longer inside your car. Another issue with vehicles is you should have a tow strap with you. I always carry a tow strap and I always carry soft shackles with me as well because I'm going to be able to get pulled out of the ditch if I need it. If someone comes along, and this has happened a lot of times, a truck will come along and neither person will have a tow strap with them, so they can't really help them. But if you have a tow strap, they can hook it onto their vehicle and they can pull you out. And same thing, you can do the same if you see someone in the ditch, you're able to pull them out as well. So it's very important that you have a tow strap with you. Next thing I have is my coffee kit. The coffee kit's important to me, not just because I like coffee, but it has a lot of different practical purposes for my coffee kit. Inside the coffee kit, you're going to find my jet boil, which has the burners and everything inside this can, and it's a French press so it can make my coffee. And it also has the gas can inside there for the butane fuel that it's going to need to heat up. So now I can get water from even a questionable water source and be able to boil it so I can drink it. Or if you're out in a situation, you should also have these ready-to-eat meals with you. These little trail meals, they're great. So you can get your hot water, pour it inside there, shake it up, and you're good to go with that. But besides just the ready-to-eat meals, you should also carry some sugary snacks to keep your blood sugar in check. And I like to carry big bags of beef jerky just because I get my protein and everything from the beef jerky, and it seems to fill you up longer. Even on hikes, I'll pack beef jerky in my backpack. It just seems to be something that's uplifting, and it goes a long ways as a snack. But these meals go a long ways for having a hot meal in your belly in an emergency situation as well. Also, keep these little things of coffee beans inside my coffee kit, and I got a grinder with me inside the coffee kit as well, so I can grind those up. So for me, this coffee kit don't only give me coffee, but it gives me a way to heat the meals up when I'm out on the trail, or if I'm in an emergency situation and I want food. And I like to eat, so I like food. You should also have utensils with you. These are kind of neat. They're magnetic. It gives me my fork, my spoon, and my knife, and they all just clip back together to keep them, and they store away in this little bag, and they're good to have. Next piece of gear I like is this battery charger, and it's not a battery charger for the car, it's a battery charger for your phone. And any of your electronic devices, it can be charged by USB, it can be charged by the sun because it has a solar panel on it, or you can create a charge by spinning the crank on it, which would put power in there. I don't know how long it takes. I've never had to use that option, but at least you have a way to keep your phone charged. If you're in your car, you should be using your phone charger in the car, but this gives you another way to actually keep your phone going. I also like to carry a multi-tool. This one's a cheap one. This one's like from Walmart. I think I paid 15 bucks for it. But with this, I have sharp knives. I have a way to cut things. I have screwdrivers. I have pliers. It gives me a lot of different options in a small package. So these are the multi-tools. Is another good thing to have with you. And I always carry a shovel. And this shovel is old. This thing is at least 40 years old because I played with it when I was a kid. And you can see how bung up it is. But this thing has lasted. It came, I think this one came from an Army surplus store, but you can get them at pretty much anywhere. Walmart's got them. Now Harbor Freight's even got one. But these are good little tools. You can dig holes with them. As you see, they bend around. You can use them to as a rake. You can use them as a hoe to be able to get dirt and snow and mud away from your car. So these are good shovels to have. And I recently got gifted a shovel from a loved one, and this thing is really killer. It's one made by Demos. It's very heavy duty. And my favorite thing about it is it extends out, so I get a full-size shovel out of it, and I can use it for all the same purposes. And this thing is really a legit shovel. As you can see, I've used it a lot already. But what's nice about this is just a little bigger, a little heavier, but you don't need anything that's big. And if you can't afford it, save up until you can. But these things here are very affordable. I don't think they're even $20 or less, but have one of those with you. There's a lot of purposes for it, and it will help you out in a survival situation and help keep you safe. So I got a lot of different things that I like to carry, but these are the ones in the winter time. Let me know in the comments what's in your kit. And if you please like and subscribe to my channel, it really helps me out, or share my videos, it really helps me as well. And if there's anything you'd like more information about or any questions you'd like to ask, just shoot me something in the comments. I'll respond back to you, and I'll see you in the next video.